Hello everyone, welcome to Online Study for You. My name is Priyanshi Agrawal and today we will be seeing how to prepare for Infosys SP and DSE assessments. So we have seen that Infosys is in SP and DSE notification is out, and we have got the notification like this, and also students are getting their on-campus emails from the colleges. So let's generally talk about what they have changed because there are few changes in SP and DSE this time. So if you see our revised compensation structure is a little bit different over here. We have SP at the three levels. We have level 1, we have level 2, and level 3 this time. Then we have DSE that used to be there generally. So if you see the packages according to them are given as for DSE trainee, you will be getting somewhere around 6.25 where you will be having 75,000 as joining bonus. Then you have a specialist program that is SP on the three different levels. So level 1 is the first level where you have this 10 LPA plus 1 lakh of joining bonus. Then you have 16 LPA for L2 and 21 LPA. That is a huge amount for L3. So you see, they are this time kind of offering you a very good packages, right? And obviously, the assessments that you have will not be very easy, right? Generally, Infosys SP and DSE exams are considered a little tougher than their normal SE exams, right? But now, this time, because they have increased their packages, they might be increasing their expectations from the students as well. So we will be seeing here that what is the Infosys recruitment process over here. So first you will be having your online coding assessment that will be for your 3 hours, right? Then if you have passed in this coding assessment, you will be having your first technical interview. Okay, then there could be a technical interview too as well, which is optional purely based on what type of role they want and if they want to take another interview round to make more filters and further processes. And the fourth one will be an HR interview. So today in basic, we are going to talk about this particular first phase that is the most important phase ever. So that is online coding assessment that is for 3 hours. So let's see what we see in this online coding assessment. So in coding round, it contains three questions and you have to attend them in 3 hours, right? So three questions in 3 hours looks very easy, sounds very easy, but it is not that. Why? Because each question, because there are three questions and all these three questions are of different difficulty level. So the first question will be kind of an easy to medium kind of thing you can say. It will be generally taking the topics that it will be covering. It will be basic algorithms, arrays, strings, stack, queue. You cannot consider tree here and graph here a lot, but hash map and linked list. So you see, in question one, you will be all having the linear data structures, right? So you should be well aware of all the linear data structures, right? So that could be the expectation from the easy level question. That is your first question. And this easy level will not be very easy. It could be somewhere between easy to moderate, right? Then we have the second question that is a medium level question. It will be having topics like greedy algorithms, right? Recursions, backtracking. So these are the topics they might be covering in your second question, which will be somewhere around medium to hard. Okay, not that hard, but medium to hard level questions, majorly on these type of topics like greedy algorithms, recursions, and backtracking. And obviously, if you're having a greedy algorithm, recursion, and backtracking, they kind of may be covering arrays as a data structure, strings as a data structure. So that can be taken from the above linear data structures that we have already talked about, right? And the third, which will be the last question and the very most important question, because this could be kind of hard to very hard level. Okay, so it will be purely of DP, that is dynamic programming based on graphs and trees, right? So majorly BSTs, that is binary search trees, and the graphs could be seen. The algorithms that are related to the graphs, you should be having the knowledge of those type of things. DP proper dynamic questions like knapsack, right, and Queen's algorithm. So all these type of things you have to cover for this level of question. So in this video today, we are going to start doing some of the practice questions just to make you familiar with what type of questions can come and how you have to handle it and how you can work on it, right? So we will be having some of the videos. Today is my first video over here, which I'll be telling you about like easy to medium questions based on arrays, strings, hash maps, right? Greedy algorithms. So it will be like all around these topics. Now let's see. Okay, we have technical interview, which I can just explain you in a short terms right now, that what all will be considered if you are in technical interview. So obviously you have to prepare your good self introduction. Then obviously they will be majorly focusing on this DSA questions. So major part again in the interview will be DSA questions. But remember, the coding assessment questions, if you have solved those questions, if you have passed that phase, and now you are in your interview questions, the DSA questions, which will be less difficult than the actual code assessments, right? Then they kind of ask you to this about the SQL queries. Then CS fundamentals are again very important, having OOPS concept, DBMS, OS, computer networks, right? So all these concepts. Then they might be asking you a little bit about your projects that you have done, and then behavioral question. Either they will be covering in HR interviews and so, right? So the major part for the interview also, the two things, that is the DSA questions as well as the CS fundamentals. And obviously self-introduction is all the time very important thing, right? So this is a gist about a technical interview, but today we are going to mainly focus on the coding assessment first of all. So here I have this chart of all the things that you should prepare, and I'll be telling you that if you are starting now, so how you should prepare yourself like in next 15 to 20 days to be good enough to pass the level, right? So you have to work on your DSA right now, which will be at least medium level. I'll say easy level questions, you can start with it, right? But you have to majorly focus on medium level questions, and then you can go towards the hard level questions, right? So first of all the linear data structures, I'm repeating again and again, linear data structure is something that is very important. It is kind of a foundation that will be built for all the questions, right? So having a good knowledge about arrays, strings, then linked list, then you have stacks and queues. Stacks and queues are something which you can just touch, or like you can just go around them. You don't need to go very deep inside stack and queues, but arrays, strings, and linked list are something which you should have on your fingertips, right? Then once these are done, you can just go for recursion and backtracking, because this is something which is very important. Greedy algorithm questions are very important. So first I'll say all the tick marks ones that I'm ticking over here, all these you have to cover these first. Then once you are done with these questions, you have to keep it aside by side by side practicing. But then you should start with recursion and backtracking, and then you can start with greedy algorithm. Once you feel that you are good enough to do the questions, the medium level questions for all of these topics, then I'll suggest go for graph Ts and DPs. Okay, so this will be how the flow should be. First, you focus on linear data structure, right? Then you talk about this recursion, then backtracking, and greedy algorithm. Now, once these two things are fully done, then I'll suggest you to go for graphs, trees, and DP, right? So this will be the whole thing. Lead code is one of the best platform that you can refer for now. Okay, and for now, I'll only suggest just go through once the topics, right? Whatever the language you are in, either you are in Python, C++, Java, C Sharp, or any other languages, right? So just go through it. Instead of preferring long videos. You can either prefer to the short videos that are crisp to the topics or the questions, as well as you can go to for the text documentations. You can just quickly read them, understand them, and go to the lead code and do as many questions as you can do. As many questions, as many, I mean, you can just do 4 to 5 questions each day, every day, and that will be good enough, right? Now, the second thing after, like, besides all these topics, these are the DSA topics, you have to work on your approach, right? Approach here, I mean, is the logic building part, right? Because when the question comes, obviously these DSA concepts are going to help you, right? But if you are not able to build logic, you are not able to think that how this particular question should be done, you will be not able to use any of these DSA concepts. These DSA concepts are your tools, right? But before using tools, you should be aware of how to build the logic for that particular question. So whenever you are approaching any of the questions at the time of your practicing time, right? Do understand the question. Try to understand what approach you can use, what methods you can apply. Try to write the code in it. If you are able to not get the question, if you're not able to get the solution, think more, try to do it again, and then only once if you are not able to do it, then only go and search for the solutions. Don't just read the question and without even thinking, just don't see the solutions, right? That will be not very helpful. So approach, that is the logic building part, is very important. And the third and the last very important thing is time and space complexity. So because this is the exam is of good enough level, right? So you should be having your time and space complexity according to what they have asked for, right? You have to write the most optimal code you can think of at that time. So you have to prepare, you have to create your mindset or the flow of your practicing for next 15 to 20 days like this. Now let's further move on to some of the practice questions that I have put over here. So I have taken 3 practice questions for this video lecture. I'll be coming with more video lectures where I'll be taking more of the questions. And today, because this is my first video over here, so we are starting with the medium level questions based on recursions, arrays, strings, hash map. So it will be all around those things. So let's see our very first question over here, which is delivery analytics. And it says count revenue windows. Okay. So this is a situational based question. Most of the time you'll be getting situational based questions only in your assessments. So let's see what the situation says. A delivery company track daily revenues from individual orders, positive or negative when refunds occur, right? So obviously that revenue could be positive if they have actually sold it, and it could be negative if refunds are being there, right? For a revenue target, okay, so there is some revenue target which can be represented by K. They want to know how many contiguous periods, that is sub-arrays of days. Here contiguous periods means the contiguous days you are working on. You have to find that sub-arrays of days achieved exactly that revenue. Okay, so basically what you have to do is, there is a company, delivery company, they will be tracking the daily revenues. They have some target value K, and you have to search that in how many contiguous periods or in how many contiguous days you are exactly achieving that target K. Okay, so this is a situation. Now, what does the problem says? Given an array revenue. So there is this one thing that they will be giving you an array, integer array revenues, and they will be giving you an integer that is k. You have to return total number of contiguous subarrays whose sum is equals to k, right? So they will be giving you some array, and they will be giving you some value k. You have to find that what are the contiguous subarray, how many contiguous subarrays are there that are giving you the exact sum that is equals to k. That is the target value. Okay. Now here is my input definition. So you will be having n, okay, and you will be having k, right? So n represents the number of days, means the number of the length of your array, right? then you will be getting K, that is your target sum, and then you will be getting a space separated array which is having R1, R2, R3, the revenue of day one, revenue of day two, and revenue of nth day, like this, right? So that will be represented by something like Ri, where I represents the number from day one to day n. Okay, and it may be negative. They have mentioned that it may be negative, depend on how many refunds they have generated that day. Okay, so this is the input structure, how it will look like. Now, what will be the output? Output should be a single integer saying the number of subarrays with sum is equals to k. So you have to simply return how many subarrays follows the condition. Okay, so here we have a sample input and sample output. So here we have is 32111. So if you see 32111 is basically 3 is the amount they have generated on day one, then 2, then 1, then 1, and then 1, right? And their okay, okay. We'll consider I guess we haven't have this K. Okay, no worries. See, let's consider this 3 as n. So n is 3, right? K is 2 over here, okay? And because there is n is 3 means an array will be given to you with 3 length. So this is your array. So 1, 1, 1 is your revenue array over here. Okay. So now what you have to do is you have to find how many sub arrays you can bring them together to make this value k, right? That is 2 in this case. So you see the first sub array will be 1 and 1, which means the first two values. And second sub array will be another sub array that is 1 and 1 again. So if you take these two sub-arrays, first sub-array and second sub-array, in these two sub-arrays, you're getting the exact target that is K, which is 2 right now in the case. So the output that you will be returning is 2 because there are two sub-arrays. There are two sub-arrays that are giving you the um, target value K. Okay, so this is how this question needs to be done. Here I have mentioned expected time complexity and the space complexity should be big of n. Now approach. This is what is logic building or approach I'm talking about. Now once you have read this whole question, now you should now think that okay, what tools I will be needing means what all concepts I need to bring them together. And then after bringing all the tools, how can I actually put it together to solve the question, right? So if you have seen my lectures about the DSA in Python, right? So I have discussed about hash maps and prefix sum. So hash map is something used when you want the frequency of something, when you want count of something, and prefix sum, on the other hand, is something where you are uh, storing some kind of a sum and then you are updating it accordingly so that whenever you get your answer that you needed, you can actually fetch it from that hash map. Okay. So here is the same approach. So you are using prefix sum and hash map of counts. For current prefix sum S, the number of subarrays ending at current index with k equals count S minus k. Update the counts as you iterate. Okay, so many of you maybe out there who didn't understand this line, but okay, fine. Let's leave this line. Let's come to the question. Okay, let's dry run this question and then we'll see that what that line actually meant. Okay, so here is my first, because the code was very large, so I have divided into two page, right? So this will be a structure that you will be also writing, right? So you will be having a function that is actually a function that will be doing the whole process, and you will be having two other blocks in your main body, that is the input and output, right? So input and output will be given in first line, that is something like n and k, and all your revenues r1, r2, r3 will be given in your second row, right, till rn, and they will be all space separated. My bad. No commas will be there. They all are space separated, right? So you can see these two lines. This is how you will be getting your output input as, right? So what you have to do is n and k will be given you in a single line, but they will be space separated. So how can you do it? You can simply write n comma k is equals to map int input split. Okay. Now n will take the first value. So what you are doing is, see, whatever the input is, for example, the input is 3 space 2. So what is going to happen? Input has been taken 3 space 2. Now you're splitting it, and because you haven't mentioned anything in between, so it will split wherever the space will come. So now you have split your input in two values, 3 and 2. Now these two are taken in integer format because you have mentioned it over here that these are the two integer values. Now these two integer values will be mapped, right? You have used this map function. Now how it is going to be mapped? Because you have wrote there two variables n comma k. So n will be going to take the first value, that is 3, and k will be going to take the second value, that is 2. Okay, so this is how this particular line going to work. Now, if you have to do the same thing, but you have to take the list and you have to take the space separated input. So what you have to do is again input dot split. So whatever the input you have, let's say I have 1, 1, 1. So they are all space separated. So I have to first of all split all of them. So because I haven't mentioned anything inside split, so it will take space and it will take make the splits, right? Now all of the three values will be taken in int for int data type, right? Because we have mentioned it over here that they all will be integer. Now you have to map it. Okay. Now all these are going to be mapped, but in which format? In a list format. So we will be creating a list and all of them are going to be mapped inside it. Now this whole list will be going to store where? It is going to be stored in a variable that is revenues. Okay, so this is how the input works. Okay, and this is how you have to take the two inputs. Now we have taken the two inputs. Now what we have to do is we have to call our function. So print count revenue periods and this k has been passed. Okay, not only k, there will be two things that are going to pass. That is the revenues, that is your actual array, and k. These two things are going to be passed. Okay. Now, once these are this function is being called here, so we have to start with its functionality. Now, what does it says? It says first of all prefix count, and you see we are creating our hash map here. Okay. So we have to create our hash map, and this hash map is going to store our prefix sum. Okay. So whatever the prefix sum we are going to create, it is going to store the frequency of that prefix sum over here. And if you see, we are initializing it with 0, 1. Now, why we are initializing it with 0, 1? Because we want that we assume that okay, 0 is my prefix sum because initially I have to take my prefix sum as 0. So I'm considering that prefix sum 0 has been taken one times, right? So 0 is a sum that has been taken one time. Okay, so that's it. Now we have to create our prefix sum variable starting with 0, and we have total periods which is also 0. Okay, this total periods is something that we have to return in the end because this is something that will say that okay, these many subarrays are giving you the prefix sum, the target actual value, right? So now once this is done, what we have to do is simple for loop. Okay, so you see we have for value in revenues. Okay, so I'm taking the first that array only, that is 1, 1, and 1. So this is my revenues that has been passed. Okay, now what we have to do is loop inside it. So my value in the first loop will be 1, right? Now what I have to do is add this value inside my prefix sum. So ps plus equals to this value, that is 1. So what will be my ps value? Ps will become 1. Okay, now I have to check if prefix sum minus k. Now, what is prefix sum right now? 1. And what is the k? Okay, let me take here. So 3 is n is equals to 3 and k is equals to 2, right? So here we have k value as 2. K is 2. So I have to see that is my PS sum, that is prefix sum, which is 1, minus k, that is 2, is present inside my prefix count or not. Okay, so why we are doing this? We are just checking if my prefix sum minus k has occurred before or not. Okay, so my 1 minus 2 is negative 1. Okay, because negative 1 is not present here. So this condition will be false. Now, because this condition is false, we have to come over here and add this new value inside it. Okay, so what is my prefix sum? Prefix sum is 1. It means 1 is something that is occurring for the first time right now. And we have to add it in here. So what we are doing is prefix count of prefix sum. So we are calling PC, that is prefix count of 1. Okay, and because this doesn't exist, it is going to add in here. And now we are writing prefix count dot get. Now this get function, either it will return you prefix sum or it will return you 0. It will return prefix sum if you have already existing value. But right now 1 is not having any existing value, so it will return 0. So 0 and plus 1 will always be there. So plus 1. So it means prefix sum 0 we have initialized. So we have taken the count of that 0 prefix sum as 1. Now one time we have prefix sum as 1. Okay, this is what it means. Now let's see the second loop. In the second loop, I have my value is equals to 1 again. Okay. Now once we have this here, we have to again do PS plus equals to 1. So in this case, my PS will become 2 now, right? Now I have to check PS, that is 2, minus K, that is also 2, that is becoming 0. Is my 0 present inside my prefix sum? So it means, is my 0 has ever come in the prefix count? Is there? Yes, there is, right? Now, because there we have this particular value inside it, what we have to do is we have to make our total periods plus equals to prefix count of this. So what will happen? Total periods is what? It is 0 right now. In this, what we are adding? We are adding the value of the 0, right? The value of the 0 is 1. So 1 is going to be added inside it. So TP will now become 1. Now, what does this shows? This shows that there is one subarray that is giving you the exact target value, right? Because if you are subtracting your target value and if you are if you are subtracting your target value with the prefix sum and you're getting 0, it means you are getting your target value, right? It means the subarray that you have taken till now is actually your subarray that is summing up to your target value. So this is why we have added 1 inside my TP, that is total periods. Now, once this is done, we have to move further ahead to the next loop, which is val is equals to again 1. Sorry, not 2, again 1, because there are 3 ones over here. So now my prefix sum will become, in my prefix sum, I have to add 1 inside it. So now my prefix sum will become 3, right? Now, because my prefix sum has become 3, what I have to do is, um, okay, so there will be this one thing that we have skipped over here, that we have to update the value, right? So we have to update the prefix count of prefix sum. So in this previous line, what we have to call is prefix count of prefix sum. Prefix sum is what? Prefix sum is 2. Because 2 is over there, 2 is not present, right? Because 2 is not present, so 2 is going to be added. Because 2 is a prefix sum that is occurring for the first time this time, right? So now what is going to happen? Again, 1 will be there. So 0 as a prefix sum. This, the key part is actually showing the prefix sum. So 0 has occurred for one time, 1 has occurred for one time, 2 has occurred for one time. Okay, so this is how it happened. Now, once this is done, what we have to do is we have to move further ahead to the third loop. So we have done this step and we have done this step. Now we have to come over again over this particular line. Okay, now what does this say again? We have to take the last loop, that is val with the value 1. We have to add val inside my prefix sum. So prefix sum plus 1 will be, it will make it 0, sorry, 3, right? Now because we have 3 in here, I have to again check if my 3 minus 2, which is 1, is already present inside my PC, that is prefix count or not. So one is already existing. So because one is already existing, again we have to add our total period. So my TP will be adding with which value? The one that you have here, the value of that one. So value of that one is what? 1. So 1 will be added in it. So now my TP will become 2. Okay. Now once my TP has become 2, we have to come over here. We have to check, is my prefix count is existing? Yes, it is already existing. And now in this get value, in this get function, we will be returning this prefix sum. So what is the value of this prefix sum? That is 1. So 1 is going to be returned. And 1 is going to be returned means 1, and we have to add 1 in. So it becomes 2 in total. So now the new value of 1 will be 2. Okay, so it means prefix sum 0 has occurred for 1 times, prefix sum 1 has occurred for 2 times, and prefix sum 2 has occurred for 1 times. This is what it means. Okay, now once this whole thing is done, we'll start with the fourth loop, but because fourth loop doesn't exist, it is going to be ended over here. Now none of these lines are going to work and will return total periods. So what is my total periods in the end? That is 2. So we are going to return 2 over here. Now in this line, we are going to print this. So when we will be printing it, the 2 will be the output that we are going to be printed. So this is how you have to do this particular question. This is actually nothing. This is the same question, that is, you have to search for the subarrays that are summing up to the value k, the target variable k. Okay, so this is how you have to do this kind of question. Now let's move on to the next question. Now the next question says user session, that is longest unique action sequence. Okay, so this is again very easy question. Let's try to understand what the situation says. Situation is a product team records user action logs. Okay, characters representing action. So there are user action logs, and there will be characters that will be representing their actions. They want the longest continuous sequence of actions without repetition of study engagement. Now, what does it mean is simply if I'm having ABC, ABC, ABC. So they want, this is a whole string. A represents some another operation or the action, B represents another action, C represents other action. They want the longest sequence they can create without having any repeated character. So you see, I take A as a consideration, good to go. B as a consideration, good to go. C as a consideration, good to go. But then when I come to the fourth element, that is A, which is already repeating. So I cannot take it as a consideration. So what I have to do is I have to remove this and move ahead. And in this case, I'll make my count as 3 because 3 was the largest count that I have seen till now, which is the longest sequence possible without repeating characters. Okay, then again, it is going to work for the same way. We have A, now it will search for B. Is B already present there? Yes, B is already present there. So again, it will update the count. Count is already 3 and it will remain 3 only because B will be deleted, right? So this is how it is going to work. Okay. Now let's see the problem, what the problem definition says. Given a string S representing user actions, find the length of the longest substring without repeating characters. Okay. Now in input, you have only one thing given, that is string, and the length of the string will be somewhere around 1 to 10 10 raised to the power 5. Now characters are ASCII or limited alphabets only. Okay. So the output will be single character, the length of the longest substring with all the distinct characters. So you see, we have the sample input A, B, C, A, B, C, B, B, right? So the largest string, the longest unique sequence possible without repeating any character is 3. Okay, so this is how the output comes. This is my expected time complexity and space complexity. Now talking about the approach. Now in these type of questions, what actually works is the sliding window. Okay. Sliding window is a very easy and a very nice concept. What does it says is, it says that I have some kind of a window. Okay. And through this window, I can only see few elements. Okay. It is not defined. You can define it accordingly in your coding whenever you are writing the code for it. But for now, if I'm explaining it generally, sliding window is something where you don't have any you don't have anything like that. You It is kind of a small window through which you can actually peek inside your array or a string or whatever the value you have, right? And this sliding window has one uniqueness. It can slide. Now, it can slide means whenever you will be sliding it from the right side, you can actually shrink it from the left side. So basically, if you want to keep your sliding window size as 3, means at a time through this window, you want to only see 3 elements, right? So what you can do is whenever you are moving one step ahead, means for example, right now you are able to see 3. Now you want to update, you want to move one ahead. So you take one more element. So now the window has become, it has extended to 4, but the size is fixed 3 that we have given. So what we can do is we can reduce one size from the behind. So now one has been reduced and one has been added. So again, the window size is similar, that is 3, but you just slided that particular window to see the new alphabets or the new characters. Okay, this is what the sliding window concept is. So we are going to use sliding window with 2 pointers and a dictionary mapping character to the last index. Move left pointer when duplicate encountered. So what we are doing is we are going to extend our window over here. We are not going to make it fixed like I have taken in example 3. We're not going to fix it, okay? Because here this is what they are asking you, right? You have to find the longest length of a window where you don't have any repeated characters. So what I'm going to do is one by one, I'll start with the first alphabet, and then I'm going to extend it again and again. I'll shrink that window when I will encounter any alphabet that is repeated. Okay, now let's try to understand with the code. So you see, we have taken one single input, that is the input of S, which is being taken as input dot strip. Now, I always prefer saying that you have to write the strip function here, because what does this strip function do? If you have any spaces either in the front of it or at the back of it, the main string, right? It will chop off all those extra spaces and everything, right? So you'll get your whole unique string only. Okay, so that is why you can do it like input dot strip. Then you have print longest unique actions and you're passing this S. So let's talk about this thing. So we have initialized few variables. Last scene will be your dictionary where you will be putting all your characters, whatever you have seen, right? So that will be your last scene dictionary. Secondly, you will be having a pointer, that is a left pointer, that will be your start of current window. Whatever your window will start with, it will start from that left window. And whenever you will be shrinking it, you will be just increasing the left value and it will shrink it, right? And the longest is the value where you will be storing your longest possible substring, like sequence you'll be getting. Now let's start iterating inside this S. Now here, instead of iterating, we are using enumerate. Now enumerate function will give you the excess of two things, that is the value as well as the index, right? So in the first loop, I have right. Okay, so this is my another pointer, right will be 0 and ch will be, okay, let me bring that string here, ABC, ABC and BB, right? So we have A, B, C, A, B, C, B, B, right? So my first character will be A. Now I have to check if CH is in last scene, okay? If my A is already present inside my last scene dictionary or the hash map. And first condition is checking that, and is my last scene of CH. If it is existing, then we are going to check if my last scene of CH is greater than equals to left or not. Okay, means is it coming after that left value or it is not? Okay, so because the first condition only becomes false here, right? So no need to check for the another condition. We'll simply go over here and I'll add this A value inside it with its index. Okay, so you see last seen of CH, which is this A, having the value right, which is its index, that is 0. Okay, now once this is done, we have to take the longest value. Now what is my longest value currently? For now, it will be 1 because this is one string that I have taken substring that is not having any repeated element. So how we are taking max of longest comma right minus left plus 1. So longest is what? 0 right now, and right is 0, left is 0 plus 1. Right? So we have to take max value out of 0 or 1. So it will be 1. So my longest is 1 in this case. Okay. Now let's move on to the second loop. In second loop, I have my right value at 1 and I have ch at second character, that is B. Again, I have to check, is my B present inside my last scene? No, it is not. So B will be added over here with the with its own index. And now again we have to update my longest. And again, longest will be taken the max out of the two values. That is the previous one, that is the longest, and the current right minus left plus 1. So 1 minus 0 plus 1, that is 2. So we have to take max of 1 comma 2. So that will be 2. So my longest will be 2 in this case. Now third loop, right will be having the value 2 and ch will be having the value c, right? Now we have to again check because c is also not present, so we have to add it in here. Now once added in here, again I have to again update my longest value and it will become 3 down. Okay. Now once this is done, we have to move to the fourth loop. Okay, now let's talk about the fourth loop over here. My right will be 3, my ch will be a, right? This is where we are. So ch is a. Now we have to check, is a inside scene? Yes. So the first condition has become true now. And is my last scene of ch? Last scene of ch will make me give the value that is 0. Is my 0 greater than equals to left? And yes, left is 0 and it is greater than equals to left. So which means this condition is also true. So because both the conditions are true, we have to come over here and it says left will be shrink, right? So left is equals to, you see, last scene of ch is what? 0, 0 plus 1, that is 1. So now my left has been moved further to 1. So it is like previously we were having the window, it was having A, B, C, right? Now when I tried to see a new character that is A in my window, I checked that, oh, A is repeating, right? So what we have to do is we have to shrink this window. So we have to remove this first L. So that is why initially my L was here, now my L is here. Okay, so this is how the window has been extending from the right side and shrinking from the left side whenever we are encountering any repeating element. Okay. Now, once this is done, what we have to do is again we have to like update its value. So we'll come here. Last scene of ch. Last scene of ch is a. A is already here. The value of r is 3. So 3 will be updated. Okay. So it says that now I am not considering a of 0 index. I am considering the a of 3 index, right? And then we have to again update our longest. So if you see in my longest, I have to take one of the three values, either 3, which is the last longest value, and right minus left plus 1. So right is 3, left is 1, 3 minus 1 is 2, and 2 plus 1 is 3. So again 3 comma 3. So longest will remain same as it is, that is 3. Okay. Now talking about the fifth loop, I have r is equals to 4. Ch value will be b, right? Because this is my next value. Now again, b is already existing, we can see, and the value of b, that is 1, is equals to left, right? So both the conditions are true. So because both the conditions are true, what we have to do is we have to move this left pointer from here to the next value, right? So now my left will become 2. Okay, now once my left has become 2, what I have to do is again update the value of this b. So now I'm considering the b of fourth index now. Okay, and what will be my longest value? Longest value will be 3 itself. Okay, it will be 3 only. Now let's talk about the sixth loop. In sixth loop, r will be at 5. My character will be c, right? Now we have c in here. Again, is my C present inside C? Yes, already present. Is the value of C, that is 2, is it greater than equals to 2, left, sorry? Yes, that is equals to left. So what I have to do is, again, I have to remove my L from here and it will move ahead to 3. Okay, so now my L will come over here. Now, once this is done, I have to I have to update the value of C, that will become 5 over here, and my longest will be updated to the value 3, right? Because it will remain stay 3 only. Okay, now once this is done, I have to move to the next loop, seventh loop over here. So in seventh loop, I have R is equals to 6 and CH value is B, right? This is my B over here. Now I have to check, is my B present inside scene? Yes, it is present inside my scene. So the first condition is true. Second condition is the value of b, that is 4 in this case, is it greater than equals to left, that is 3, which is also true, right? It is greater than 3. So because both the conditions are true, what we have to do is we have to move our cursor, move our left, move one step ahead, right? So what we have to do here is we have to move this left ahead. So my left will now have last seen of CH is 4, right? 4 plus 1 is 5, right? So it will become like that. 1 second, I guess we have. Okay, here in this case, we have L is equals to 2. Then in sixth one, we were searching for C. C was already present there. So we have left is equals to last seen of CH, that is 2. 2 plus 1 is 3. That is fine. It has become 3 now. Okay. Now once this is done, we have to come over here on the seventh loop. CH is B. Uh, uh, we have present CH inside my last scene, correct? Is my last scene of CH, that is 4, is greater than equals to 3, correct? What I have to do is last scene of CH. What is last scene of CH? That is 4. 4 plus 1 has become 5. So it will come over here. Now once this is done, I have to take my last scene of right. My last scene of right CH is B. It will be updated with the new value, that is 6. Okay. Now once this has been updated, what we have to do is again check for the longest value. Now if you see the longest value, the last value of longest is 3 and right is 6. 6, left is 5. 6 minus 5 is 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. So again 3 is my largest till now. Now in the eighth loop, I have my R is equals to 7. CH will be B. Now again, I have to check for the same thing. Is my B existing? Yes, it is already existing. Is my CH of B, the value of CH is 6? Is my 6 greater than L? Yes, that is also true. Because it is true, what we have to do is move the left cursor ahead. So the value of B is 6. 6 plus 1 is 7. It will move to 7. Now, once this is done, what we have to do is again update my longest value. Now, if you see, the longest value is again 3, right? Because 7 minus 7 will be 0 and 0 plus 1 is 1. So the longest value that we have get till now is 3. Now in ninth loop, there is no ninth loop is going to work. We'll get out of it and we'll return the longest value. So the last longest value that we have got is 3. So when you will come here and print this value, you will get 3 as the output. Okay. So this is how this particular question needs to be done. The question is very small. You're just having one small for loop, and in that one for loop, you have literally 2 to 3 lines of statement, and you are getting your output, right? So this is how you can do this particular question. Now let's talk about the last question for the day, that is scheduling, where you have to merge overlapping time slots. So this is again a very easy question. Comes under medium level difficulty, but it is easy question, right? So the situation is you have a scheduler, scheduler receives many proposed meeting time slots and needs to be merged overlapping slots, so rooms can be allocated efficiently. Okay. So problem is you have been given with n intervals, and interval will be looking like something start and end. You have to merge all the overlapping intervals and output the merged list sorted by time, the start time. Okay. So as an input, you will be having your n, which represents the number of intervals that you have. Then for n times, you will be having n different intervals, which is like start and end, start and end, start and end. And for the n times, it is going to work. The size of n is 1 between 1 to 10 raised to the power 4. SI and EI represents the start and the ends, and always remember the starting time will be less than or maybe equals to end time, right? Now once this is done, you have to output. First line you have to output is how many number of merged intervals you have done, means how many intervals you have actually merged. And in the second line you have to print all the intervals that you have, the final intervals after overlapping, right? You have to print those things. So, for example, you are given with four intervals 1, 3, 2, 6, 8, 10, 15, 18. You have to give that how many times you have, I mean, in your merged after your merging done, how many elements are there and what will be the final interval slot times, right? So now let's talk about this here only. So basically we have four slots given: 1, 3, 2, 6, 8, 10, 15, 18. Okay. So the easiest way to understand this question is, for example, you have four events to attend today, and these are the timings, right? So you have your first event at that will be starting from 1 and it will end to 3, right? Then your second event is 2 to 6, third event is 8 to 10, and fourth event is 15 to 18. Now if you see, whenever you are attending your first event, your second event will always whenever you are attending your first event, that is from 1 to 3, your second event will start, right, in between. So it means this is an overlapping time, right? This is an overlapping time slot that you're having your first event and your second event started. So this is what we have to do, is we have to merge these two time slots. So what will happen? We'll check if the last value of the first one and the first value of the second time slot is this less than the ending time slot of the first value. If it is less than, it means it is kind of overlapping. And because it is overlapping, we have to merge the two values. So how we can merge the two values? It will become 1 comma 6, 1 comma 6. So what will happen? These two times slots will be merged. Okay. After that, then if you see the second time slot, 2 comma 6 and 8 comma 10. So because 8 is greater than 6, so we can say that there is no overlapping happening, right? So my second time slot is perfectly fine. That is 8 comma 10. And again, if you see for 15 comma 18, again 15 is greater than 10, right? So it means there is no overlapping happening. So this is how you have to select. Okay. Now here you have a simple approach. You have to sort your intervals by start and then iterate and either merge with the last or append new interval. Okay. So let's start in here. So you have the input of n, which represents the size of that particular thing, and you have your intervals. Now again, if you see, you have input dot split for you can say I in range n. So you are basically whatever you are given with, you are basically looping inside it. Whatever you are getting your input, you are splitting it. They are considered as an integer number. It will be mapped as a tuple, and the whole all the tuples or every interval will be marked as a tuple, and all the tuples are going to be stored inside a list, and the whole list is that intervals list. Okay, so it will be something like 1 comma 3, 2 comma 6, 8 comma 10, and 15 comma 18. This is how it is going to happen. You have tuples and you have a list of the whole tuple. Okay. Now once this is done, you have to you have result is equals to merge intervals. So you're calling that function. Okay, so let's come over here. Let's see the function. So you have 1 comma 3, you have 2 comma 6, right? Then you have 8 comma 10, and then you have 15 comma 18. Now what you have to do is, first of all, you have to check if your intervals is empty or not. So if it is, you have to simply return your empty list, right? So if not intervals means if there is no element in your intervals, you have to return empty array. If it is not, first of all, we are sorting them. So intervals dot sort key will be lambda x such that x of 0. So you see, we are going to take this particular value as x, okay, and x of 0 means the first value, and based on that x of 0, we are going to sort all of them. Okay, so right now if you see, all of them are already sorted. So let's move ahead. Now we have created our first our list, that is merged list, and inside my merged list I'm adding the first interval, that is 1 comma 3. So 1 comma 3 I'm adding by default. Now, once this is done, what I have to do is, for s comma e in intervals from 1 to n. Okay, so in your intervals list, you are going starting from first, because the 0th one you have already added in your merge. So you have to start checking from first. You have to start from first and you'll go till end. This is what this slicing means, right? So in the first loop, you will be having um, s as 2, which is the starting time of the first tuple, and e as 6. Okay. Now, once this is done, you have to take the last values as well. So I'm taking ls from the last value. You see, merged of -1. So what is this merged? Merged is this particular list. -1 means represents the last element. Last element till right now is here 1 comma 3. So now 1 will be taken as last starting time and last ending time will be taken as 3. Now, once this is done, we have to simply just check if my S value is less than equals to last ending time. Okay. If it is true, see, if this particular thing is less than the ending value of the previous value, it means they are overlapping, right? And if you see, the case is true because 2 is less than 3. Sorry, it will be E over here. Yeah, 2 is less than equals to 3. So it means the overlap is happening. Now, because the overlap is happening, we have to update that merged value, right? Merged. So what we will do is merged of -1 will be called and will update it according to what? Last starting time will remain same. So last starting time will remain same, that is 1. But the ending time will be the new ending time, that is 6. Okay. So now it has been updated to 1 comma 6. This is how we have overlapped. Now, once this overlapping has been done, we have to move further ahead to the second loop. Now, in second loop, I have to move ahead to the new value. So S will be 8 and E will be 10. Okay. Now, last S will be what? Last S will be 1 and last E will be what? It will be 6, right? So it will be 6. Now again I have to check, is my 8 less than equals to 6? False, right? So means no overlapping is happening. Now because no overlapping is happening, what we have to do is we will go inside else condition and will inside this merged list will append this particular s comma e. So we are going to append this s comma e over here. That is 10. Okay, cool. Now third loop, we have s as 15 and we have E as 18. Now, once this is done, we have last S as 8 because we are taking the last value of merged. Okay, so last S is 8 and last E is 10. Now, once this is done, we have to check, is my starting of the current timing, is it less than equals to the end of the previous timing? No, it is not. So it means again, no overlapping is happening. Now, because no overlapping is happening, we can add this S and E inside my merged list. And now if you try for the fourth loop, it is not going to work and it will come out of it, out of the whole thing. Now, once it is done, we are going to return this merged value. So we get 1, 6, 8, 10, and 15, 18. So what is going to happen over here? Here, from this line, we are going to get 1, 6, 8, 10, and 15, 18. Now this is done. Now we have to return the output, print the output. So first we need to print how many elements are there in the merged list. So print length of result because this whole list is going to be stored inside result. So that is why we are checking the length of result. So right now it is 3. So 3 is going to be printed. And then I want to print all the values, right? So we are using this for loop for S comma E in result. So it will be like 1, 6, 8, 10, 15, 18. Okay, so this is how we have done this particular question. This is again very easy question, but very important, right? So this is it. We have done 3 very nice and important questions. All of them are medium level, and we have covered, if you see, many of the topics. We have covered hash maps, prefix sum, two-pointer, sliding window, right? As per the conceptual things, then we have covered arrays and strings, right? So this is how these few questions has helped us to understand all these concepts, right? So never mind. In the next video lecture, I'll be coming with more questions that are going to come most probably in your Infosys SPDSE assessments. Until then, I wish you all the best and keep preparing and keep learning. Thank you.